What's up, YouTube? I hope you're having a great day today and you're ready to learn some high value tips. If you're like me when I first started TFT, you're probably feeling a little bit overwhelmed and a bit frozen with indecision. TFT is a game that values high decision making skills and high knowledgeability. So today we're going over 5 tips that will help you improve your rank instantly. Before we do, you're going to want to subscribe to my channel for more tips and guides to help you see better results in your games. Let's get started. So for tip number 1, it's very simple and very direct. Only play 1 to 2 comps, and the reason for this is because when you're first starting TFT, it can seem very daunting, right? There's a lot of knowledge you need to learn, and there's a lot of things that you need to do before you can really climb. There's a bunch of units, items, abilities, the leveling econ system, and then on top of all that, the traits on top of it that only synergize with certain units. Learning 1 to 2 comps at a time really makes this into a bite-sized chunk that you can take and develop over time. Now, this isn't going to last forever. Really, you just want to do this until you're comfortable enough with 1, maybe 2 comps that you can play consistently and almost on autopilot. And the reason is because once you learn 1 to 2, you move on to 3 to 4, and so on and so forth. You build up your knowledge base so that you can learn more and more. Now for tip number 2, this is a really simple and effective tip, but oftentimes we find it difficult because we lack discipline. I myself struggled with this for a while. Now here it is. Don't spend gold without a good reason. If you won a $10 million lottery tomorrow and then bought 3 houses and a bunch of cars, then you'd be broke the next day. It's the same thing with TFT. Only spend it for the important reasons. That may be you have 2 to 3 pairs on your bench. What's a pair? A pair is when you have 2 or more champions of the same kind and you're close to hitting the 2-star. You get 3 champions for a 2-star, and so you're almost there. Well, you don't want to just roll willy-nilly trying to get as many as you can and hope it works. What you want to do is wait until you find 2 to 3 pairs, and then from there you have a good reason to spend your gold. It's very likely you're going to hit one of those champions to 2-star, maybe even 2, maybe all 3, or maybe even 4 if that's how many you have. The point is, you want to make sure you're spending your gold in the most effective time. Make sure that you get a lot of value out of the gold you spend. Once you roll down gold, you cannot get it back, especially if you don't find anything you need. That would just be a complete waste, and then you have nothing to show for it. You always want to make sure that your gold is going towards improving and strengthening your board. Now, the other way to spend your gold is to level up. Now, there's only a couple of reasons why you want to do this, so make sure to ask yourself this before doing it. Are you close to a level break point? Are you hot streaking and you want to maintain it? Are you loose streaking and you just want to spend your gold to make sure you stay alive as long as possible? Make sure you ask yourself these questions before spending the gold, because once you spend it, it's gone forever. The only exception to this is when you're over 50 gold. Since that's the interest cap and you can no longer get higher interest, the best thing to do, if your board is stabilized, spend gold on leveling up to 50 gold, that is. Now, if your board is not stabilized, you're going to want to roll down some more to get stronger units, maybe some 2-stars, and that way you improve your board strength and you don't lose too many rounds in a row. Now we're moving on to tip number 3. Now this tip is very effective and very useful, and it was definitely helpful in my climb. So this is what it is right here. Make sure to use items effectively. Now there is a ton of different item combos, and learning them all will take a lot of time. So I'm going to give you a couple of pointers to get you moving in the right direction for each item playstyle. Now for AD units, they love attack speed. These are units like Olaf, Yone, Yasuo, or Xayah. So what you want to do is build Ginsu's Rageblade. Currently, Deathblade is one of the strongest attack items in the game right now, and so for AD units, they love Deathblade as well. You can never go wrong with a Ginsu's Deathblade pairing. Now for AP units, those carries love mana and they need a mana item. That would either be Blue Buff or Spear of Shojin. Typically right now, Spear of Shojin is better since most of the AP carries have a large mana bar and will require a lot of mana generation. Now, for power, you're either going to go with Death Cap or with Archangel Staff. Now, Archangel Staff allows you to give scaling throughout the fight, as well as since it's a hybrid of a rod and a tear, you also get bonus beginning mana. This over Death Cap makes a lot of sense when you know the cast is going to take a while to go off. But if you need the power immediately, then you would go with Death Cap, which is kind of like the Deathblade of AP units. Now for tanks, there's a couple different options that you can go with. First and foremost, Sunfire is really strong. It gives you anti-heal in an aura around the tank, and it also provides a lot of durability. Now the second option that you want to look at is either Deathclaw or Bramble Vest. And to do this, you need to scout out the other enemy comps and make sure to see if they're playing a lot of AP carries or AD carries. Now, if there's more AD, then you go for Bramble Vest. If there's more AP, then you go for Dragon's Claw. Either one works, just make sure you get it right every time you check the boards of the enemies. Because it varies from game to game, there's never one correct answer. You just need to make sure that you're looking through the enemy boards to make sure that you know which one you want to slam. And the last tip would be to use Warmog's Vest. This item is super powerful as it gives you a ton of HP. This combined with the proper Dragon's Claw or Bramble Vest will make your tank unkillable. And as a little bonus tip, I would also say to use Redemption. That would be the Tear and Belt combo. And the reason is because it reduces AoE damage and gives off AoE healing to your allies around you. This is a very, very powerful item if you can afford the extra space and have the extra item components. Now we're moving on to tip number 4. This tip is really short and simple, so let's get right to it. Make your column balanced. Like in a healthy meal, you gotta have your proteins, carbs, and greens. In TFT, you gotta have your DPS, your tanks, and your supports. Too many of one kind, and you'll notice from the mid game onward, your comp begins to suffer. You can survive a lot, but you will still lose. You can heal a lot, but you'll still not kill enemies fast enough. You can kill a few enemies, but you can't survive long enough to kill them all. All of these scenarios are very real, and if you don't learn to balance your comp, you'll never climb high. The rule of thumb is simple. One main DPS unit, one main tank unit, one main support unit. You can add extras in each category as you need to and adjust along the way, but always remember to have those 3. How do you know which one is the main unit? Simple, it's the unit you put your best items on. Those units will be the most effective with their spells and have the most impact, whether that's healing, soaking damage, or dishing it out. Now we're moving on to the 5th and final tip. This tip will probably get you the most LP when winning and save you the most LP when losing. This is really for someone who's mastered tip number 1 and it will carry you for a long time. And that is to play your strongest board. What does that mean? It means that even if you're focusing on playing one particular comp, but you have pieces from another, play it anyway if the units are already 2-star or have active synergies. Regardless of the comp you want to end up with, playing the pieces with the most strength right now will get you the most results ASAP. The reason is because you'll win more rounds early, get more gold, snowball faster, and your placements will improve dramatically. Even when you're losing, if you play your best board, then you'll lose less HP, buying you more time for when you're ready to make the switch to the board you prefer. This includes slamming items that may not be best in slot, but still have strong value. These items are typically generic items. Items like Morellonomicon, Static Shiv, and Gargoyle Stoneplate. Did you notice something? Those are all great utility items. Those items will still provide great value and be useful the whole game. I understand that you may want to save your tier for a Shojin, or save that bow for a Ginsu's, but is it worth losing 20 HP plus? Probably not. A great rule of thumb is to never hold more than 2 components, especially if you're losing hard. And there you have it. Those are my 5 tips to take you from Iron to Diamond. If this video helped you, drop a comment and a like down below. It'll help more players find the video and we can all grow together. Don't forget to subscribe, you don't want to miss out on more tips and guides in the future. Now get out there and start climbing the ranked leaderboards.